which I would assume is pretty much everyone, right? All right, so today I'll present ElderGuard Digital Safety and hopefully demystify a couple of crypto items as well. But first, a little bit about me. So I was born and bred in Austria, then moved to Australia to marry my Aussie husband. I've got two step grandchildren and two stepchildren. Now, there it is. And then, of course, I've got my family in Austria. And that was actually done last year. And that boat still exists after 45 years. So security and safety have always played a big role in my life. And that first, as a researcher in a biosafety level 3 laboratory, that's actually biosafety level 2. There are no photos of level 3. That's actually just a level below Ebola. And then I've also worked in personal security for over 10 years now. And I do particular work for a VIP coming to Australia once a year, usually for a month. And I manage a team around that. And then I also have training in OSINT. OSINT is open source intelligence that is using the internet, not just the internet, but also the deep web to investigate people and companies online, sometimes also the dark web. So I have that qualification as well. Now my happy place, that's my happy place. That's an older photo, obviously, from 25 years ago. All right, so why crypto? Now there's a lot of things I could say about crypto and what's going on with a lot of institutional money coming into the market and the crypto adoption. But really the point that I want to make today, and using this quote, is that crypto adoption is inevitable. Who is the quote from? Me. But it's not just me, it's really the sharpest minds in the financial industry say the same thing, and it's already started. So really the question is regarding you, where you are standing with that. Now the top 4 problems that I deal with when I deal with people in crypto, and I'm not going to mince words on this one. Number 1, unfortunately, is people doing stupid things. Number 2 is that people losing their assets. They're not tech savvy. And then also they are quite uneducated in general. But it's all focused on people, so that also means it can be rectified. And so the solutions that I provide when I work with people is that people are being smarter with crypto. Then also they're buying and holding their assets safely for future profits. And the keyword here is safely. It's really important. And then they're using an easy-to-use secure platform. And lastly, they're making more informed and confident choices, which is the important thing. Okay, how do I do that? So very generally, education, consultation, implementation, and using a secure crypto platform with custody insurance. Now, education, consultation, and implementation, what do I do actually? I also help people with basic online tools. So one of the things for legacy planning, for example, is really important you have a password manager, a good password manager. The browser is not going to cut it because there's so much information you can store safely in a really good password manager. And you can share these passwords with your executor, whatever that is, in a very simple way. Now, challenges. So if people choose not to work with me, what people with cryptocurrency are facing is that they either self-custody, that means they've got 100% of the responsibility for their crypto assets, and I'll give you an example in a minute of what that actually looks like. And so the requirements for that, you have to be really tech savvy, you have to have an excellent backup and legacy plan, and then you really have to understand secure storage. Now that pretty much excludes most of the people because they simply don't have that. The other option is that people leave it on a crypto exchange, and there you run into big issues. And I'm sure you've heard it in the news, whether it's, gosh, the name is even escaping me now. So FTX was one of the exchanges. So they actually self-custody. They have no insurance. even though they might say it's all secure and safe, they actually have no insurance and they're vulnerable to hacks. And again, that's what you read in the news, unfortunately. So here, just a case study. So Steve, my client Steve, he came to me this year. He had about 150K worth of crypto on a self-custody on a ledger. Now the ledger malfunctioned. He actually thought he lost his crypto, right? But he actually didn't. So we were able to retrieve the crypto and then deposit it on the easy-to-use platform that I generally use. And now crypto in 2024 had been a very good year for crypto so far. It's actually grown up to 150K this year, which of course he's very happy about. So before, it was a very nerve-wracking experience for him with self-custody and the potential loss of his assets. And now he can sleep really well at night knowing that his crypto assets are safe. And he doesn't have the headache with self-custody. Now another client named Chris, so he came to me about 2 years ago. So he owned a property in Palm Beach, had 500K equity in. So he made about 2.5% per year on that. So there was about 13K. That is actually his actual very rough calculation. He educated himself very well about crypto before he actually came to me. And he decided to sell the property and invest into Bitcoin respectively. So that's about 2 years ago. He purchased $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. And then he diversified into different bundles later that year. Now bundles is essentially just having one asset. You buy a bundle which has a number of different assets, mostly blue chips in these bundles. And then last year the crypto winter hit, so it wasn't a good year, but he held tight. And now he passed the $1 million crypto portfolio mark this year. And that was a huge milestone for him, obviously. So that screenshot was done just for a couple of days ago. And of course, that was, very happy about it. But he also had to sit tight with during the crypto winter. So before he had a property, equity in a property, 500K. And now he's got a growing crypto portfolio. And the growth in the last 2 years was 100%. And of course, he keeps on holding it. So there's much more to come in crypto and what's happening in the industry and the adoption of cryptocurrency. So with the future of crypto, there's so much I could say. If you learn a little bit about where the entire industry is going, how it's more institutionalized now, ETFs are being launched worldwide, also on the ASX, a Bitcoin spot ETF. There have been a lot in the US. The regulatory bodies are coming through as well now finally, so we get more regulation around that, which is good for the customer. But what I want to show you here, just to keep it very simple, is actually 2 images. And the first image is the purchasing power of the US dollar. Since the inception of the Federal Reserve, 1913 to about 2011. And the Australian dollar doesn't look much better. This is a reality that we are faced with. Any fiat money is not backed up by any limited supply or something valuable. It's being printed now from debt. And that's what we actually have also as a consequence, the devaluation of our currency. Now, when you look in contrast to what's actually happening with Bitcoin and the way the Bitcoin system is actually built, it's a deflationary system. It's got a capped supply. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin ever minted. And that is the reason why you see what you see. And it's out of the fad stage. This is an international asset. BlackRock says it's international asset. So there has been huge changes in the industry over the last few years. And you can see that even though the price of the housing might go up, actually the amount of Bitcoin that you need to purchase that property goes actually down over the years, and will over the coming years, because that's what that asset actually does. So really, instead of saying the future of crypto, it's like what's your future with crypto, which is what you wanna ask yourself. Now, my ideal referrals is individuals that are aged 50 plus. I do have younger clients, but they're usually the kids of my clients. They have crypto, but they are concerned about crypto storage. They have crypto, but they have no legacy plan in place, which again is very, very important. And then, of course, first-time buyers that are interested in purchasing cryptocurrency safely, but with an investor mindset. I don't work with people who just want to put a couple of $100 in there and gamble with it. That's not the clientele that I work with, and that's specifically also true for with people who want to diversify SMSFs. Now, my ideal referral partners, well, accountants, financial planners, and IT consultants. Obviously, there's a lot happening with the regulatory bodies coming in, and it's important that there's much more coherence with between people who educate around the crypto space, and then also accountants, financial planners, and these professions. All right, so that's the end of the presentation. So can you please grab your phone now and just scan that QR code there? So does that import my new contact details in your phone? Yep. Excellent. So these are my new contact